Hello there, General Techno here with yet another video review. Yes. No! It's a review of Beast Wars 10th Anniversary reissue / remold of the original Beast Wars Megatron figure. He came in a Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack with remolded Optimus Primal, both sporting more show-accurate paint jobs and new remolded parts. This guy was also available in Japan before that with essentially the same deco and only one real change, which I'll mention. Anyway, Megatron, as you can see in Beast Mode, he's a T-Rex. He's a very good version of a T-Rex as well. Pretty good 95-96 engineering, if you ask me. Posability-wise, it isn't too great. He does have a gimmick in this mode, though. Well, you can push back here to open his mouth, but that's not the real source of the gimmick. What you can do is pull his jaw down. This opens his mouth. But you can also unlatch this part and use it as a squirt gun by filling it up with water. I've never done this, so I don't know how it all works. But you can pull that piece out, do it, and then when you pull back on the head, it apparently causes the mechanism which causes the water to fire the fire. And also opens his mouth. He's also got some limited hand articulation here, and he's got some limited knee articulation and a bit of foot articulation. Really, posability-wise, he's not very good in this mode. He can also move up like this, kind of, so you can change the angle he's posed at. But again, not very much. It's going to be tricky to show him here, simply because he's so freaking big. Underbelly, this is one of the nice things about him. He doesn't have any kibble showing. He doesn't have any robot parts dangling out. Everything is very well hidden on this guy. He's got an actual underbelly, for one. He's got all these screw holes from this side. Again, he looks very good. There's not much more I can show, other than maybe some size comparisons. So with size comparisons, here he is next to Cheetor from the Beast Wars 10th Anniversary line as well. As you can see, this guy, well, he's a beast of a dinosaur. He towers over Cheetor. He is very, very, very big, very impressive because he is so freaking big. And I'm also going to put him next to a more modern Dinobot dinosaur, specifically animated Swoop. And as you can see, looking at him, he towers over Swoop. This guy is a monster of a dinosaur. And let's check out his transformation now, shall we? Alright, for transformation, he's got a pretty good transformation, fairly show accurate. We're going to start by going up here. You can see a couple of tabs up here. They take a bit of force to open. I should edit this out, but I probably won't, unless it runs over. But anyway, they open up like this, and this pretty much shows how he transforms from here. The shell's going to end up on his back, and we're going to transform his hand, pull it out here to give him the hand there. We're going to take these side pieces here, and fold these off, and then extend this hand. Then what I tend to do is bring it back in a bit slightly and pull this down. This gives him his claw. It's a distinct claw. We then rotate the waist around. Make sure these side pieces here, which you can kind of see, are up, because we're going to peg the waist in here. Rotate the dino arms out of the way. Put that back, pull up the head, and then rotate at the knees 180 degrees. Few final touches. We fold out his heels right here from the back of the feet so he can stand properly. We push this back, which I already covered. That's a criticism of this toy I'm going to get into later. And you can adjust these. Push this back again. Adjust the head, hands. Make sure these pieces are folded back and the hands are out of the way. And there you have it. Megatron's robot mode. Yes, indeed. Now the camera got bumped a bit, so I'm just going to adjust it. Again, the issue with these tall figures is due to my camera's range and range of my setup, he doesn't show up too well. Like, he's a bit too high. But his head shows up better than Primal's does. Again, this head is remolded from the originals. Although the originals would have been passable because it was a lot closer than Optimus Primal's was, this one is a lot cooler. It's got the little Predacon symbol on his forehead crest like the show model had. It's got the eyes which are painted to look like the glowy eyes from Beast Wars. And it's got a nice, perfect, yes, smile on him. So it reflects his scheming nature. Posability-wise, he's got a lot more posability in robot mode than he did in beast mode. You can rotate here at the shoulders, upper, and he's got a bit of an elbow rotation here. And he's got a arm rotation up here. There's two separate rotations. He's got the same dinosaur functionality. Nothing locks really though. And as for his claw, this is a bit awkward, but it's the same rotation as the other arm, except you can do a bit with the claw, and it's got a little action feature here whereby you can press this thing in order to open the claw. Open and close the claw shut. I don't normally use that myself. I normally just bring the claw up like this, take that shut, and try and keep it into place a bit. He's also got these little missiles down here which can fire. You can position these ahead, and if you look at the tab here, he'll fire these little anchor-shaped missiles out of his pieces here. Now, for criticisms of this figure, this guy is pretty good. He does have a few flaws though. First of all, I understand the Japanese version of the figure and the original had a ratcheted waist. This guy has no ratchet in his waist. It must have gotten dropped at some point when they brought him over. So, as such, his waist goes freely. But that's not my biggest issue with the figure. No, my biggest issue is the fact that this does not peg in very securely. This back piece loves to fall out. When you're posing around the head, it's not in arms, it's not uncommon for it to fall out. Paint-wise, though, this guy looks great in robot mode. He is dead on to his animation model in both modes. The eyes look great in both modes. Paint apps are pretty much dead on. The detailing is all well painted out. And the only other criticism I have, there he goes again, about this mold, and this is more just a limitation of the times since they addressed this in Robot Masters later on, and in his recent Cybertron / Beast Wars 10th Anniversary new mold. The tail piece, which he had a hand in here in the show, but on the actual original toy, this is his hand. Whereas in the show it was an actual weapon. And on subsequent versions of the figure, like the Robot Masters one, he does have an actual hand in there and can remove the tail weapon. All in all, though, he's not a bad figure, though, despite those flaws. Just for some quick size comparisons now. First, here he is next to the guy who he seems to be obsessed with all the time on the show, Dinobot, in his universe form. Scale-wise, these two match up really well. Megatron was always really tall, and it fits him to be about taller than his subordinates. It fits his character, indeed. Yes. Well, I'm just going to change Dinobot's action of Predacon to fit in better with this. For some other size comparisons, here he is next to missing one missile Henkei Starscream. The launcher just fell out, but anyway, you can see he's taller than the average deluxe, to paraphrase Yogi Bear. And I'm just going to do a couple more. Leader Megatron, his recent animated namesake. Well, Leader Megatron towers over this guy, as you can see. It's not in frame, but yeah, much taller. No question there. Leader Megatron is a beast.